Okay, so we want to apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm still getting familiar with YouTube and this new channel and trying to do all this new stuff here. I'm just in the dark about it. So anyhow, I got in a hold of Trey. He's on the phone here, and the only way to do this is I got him running through my system microphone so you guys can be able to hear what he says. And we're just going to talk a little bit what we found out. We haven't really pre-discuss this in any detail, so it's not like we planned anything out. And also, I want to point out that everybody that's out there saying negative things towards us or towards our story, I want to clear up one thing right now, and that's that misinformation from garbage sites like Snopes. I've been doing this a long time. I do a lot of reading when I'm not sleeping and working and playing golf or playing my guitar. I am reading nonstop. All right, so I've done a lot of homework. I've been doing this a long time, and whenever I want some information about anything, I don't look towards anything that's coming off the TV or the news stations. And the number one place I never ever look is Snopes. Snopes could do 20 articles about me. I don't care. I'm not opening up that garbage to read it. All you're doing is enabling them. They have no journalism history. They're a couple of bums. They're funded by Obama's little cronies to do this stuff. The stuff they print out and the right is garbage. It's not journalism. It's garbage. And when you go and you feed from them, you're just enabling them. So, and then there's some other people been writing stuff about us and saying they talk to the contacts. I can tell you right now, not one person has called me, knocked on my door, anything. So if they're saying that I said something other than what I've already said on the video, then it's not true. Unless you hear it from me, it's not true. And I want to say that also, I did make a mistake in the beginning when I did that first video alerting everybody about what the information that I came across. That when I said I got it just down the line, I said a friend of mine inboxed it to me, and it was a link to the RAM site. And I went to the RAM site and I copied and pasted the post that was received from the tip, and I just assumed it was a girl from the conversation that was taking place in there. So that's where you get the she. When I kept saying the she, I later found out that she was not a she, it was a he, and it was actually Trey. And then it was too late because the video was already out. So it was like a flip of a coin whether I got that right. Now some people will say, well, geez, you didn't really look into it that well if you didn't even know whether that source was a male or a female. Well, this RAM site is a respectable site, and this person that posted it had already verified it. I sent him an inbox. He said, yes, it's been verified. He said that in his original post after that tip that was received. He ended that with that his intel has confirmed it, and it is true, and that it is a reliable source. So I ran with it, and nobody needs to point the finger at anybody else but me, and because it has nothing to do with anybody else, really. And so I don't where people are getting their information from, but it's not coming from me. Unless you hear it from me, it's not coming from me. Plain and simple. Don't listen to garbage sites like Snopes, and everybody will get along just fine. So anyhow, Trey, like we were saying, that you're the one that reported this, and your mechanic here, he works for your dad, and he, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody, right? And it's not like this guy made it up. You explained him to me as somebody that has like no computer skills and is not into all this 3%er stuff like we are, and knows all this stuff that's going on behind the scenes, what we're not being told, and not what's on the news stations. This bunch of lies and stuff. So he's not into all of that stuff, and he's not alert to all this stuff. He has no reason, nothing to gain from this, and all that good stuff, right?
Absolutely not. He's kind of a country boy. He's online and he has a Facebook account, but he plays Farmville or some of these games and, chats with family and stuff like that. That's what he does. So, he's a family friend, and he works for my father's used car business, repairs cars for us, and, he kind of talks about the Bible and things like that, but, he knew what, I talked to him before about what I'm into, Facebook pages, groups, and, I'm not in a militia or anything like that. I just care about our country, what's going on, and he knew, so when he saw this happen, he reported it to me, and, I talked to him within an hour of when it happened, and he was genuinely sued, gave me a lot of detail. So all of the report about the mechanic, and I'm referring to our personal mechanic and family friend, and he's not somebody who's ever liked me before. So, even still, I was a little bit, I guess, skeptical. I wanted verification, and so I contacted my cousin, and she works for the Oklahoma City Police Department. I thought she may have heard something through the law enforcement grapevine. She said, she asked what's going on, and I told her what the mechanic had seen. Now, she lives down that way, where, on Highway 9 where it happened. And so she says back to me, you know what, now you tell me that. I was at the intersection in Newcastle, and Oklahoma Highway Patrol blocked off this entire intersection, and I had to sit here and watch these 6 buses roll through the intersection. She said, as a matter of fact, it was these village buses. And, this girl, she worked for the Oklahoma City Police Department, I think, for about 15 years. In her 40s, she's not a little girl, and she's definitely not into any kind of conspiracy theory or anything like that. She very much believes in the system, so she has absolutely no reason to lie about it.
Yeah, it's not like she made anything up. The mechanic made anything up. They don't even stay in touch with each other. They don't have no close ties to them, and it's not like you made anything up. You're just passing on what you found out and what.
Information. I don't have any agenda besides it kind of suits me. The government hasn't told us to move any people in here, and yet we see it happening, and so. I wanted to let people know, and I'm on this Patriot discussion group, and I just put my friends on there, and some of those people shared it out, with other groups that they're involved with. Some of them are in militia groups, and they shared it with me, and it spread pretty fast. I've said a couple other times, if I said I was going to go viral, I would have appended, a phone number on there with a booty call line, and I might have some dating hours spent. So I had no idea. I didn't realize this was going to spread so far and be such a big deal.
Yeah, me either. Because people around my area, a lot of them are asleep, a lot of them are awake, a lot of them are waking up, a lot of them are listening to me, a lot of my people even in this valley, in this community, they think I'm crazy, and we do a lot of patriotic stuff around here, and we try to get people involved, and it seems like a lost cause half the time. And so when I released the video myself, and I said, please share, I figure, well, the immediate friends on my Facebook page is around 1,000 then. People I went to school with in Kansas, and patriot friends throughout the country, a couple here and there scattered, but the majority of them are right here around where I grew up and where I've been living. So I didn't think that video would take off the way it did, and once it got out there and taken off, it got shared quite a bit. I think it's over 1 million views right now. That's just crazy. Who would have ever thought that? I never would have thought that. I don't want all this. I don't want all this attention. I have no motives whatsoever. Matter of fact, I'm just a hair away from just saying the heck with all of this and deactivating my page and walking away from it. I got a life to live. I don't need all this.
People don't want to take precautions. They don't want to hear that. I mean, I understand people are skeptical because they don't want to believe they can put their head in the sand or whatever and wait and see what happens. But you know, when the guy comes on the news here in Oklahoma, like, you know, we have tornadoes. And a guy comes on the news, and you know, he's got it off the radar, and he says the tornado's coming your way. I don't know this guy. I don't know. I've never met him before. Here in England is a big one here in Oklahoma, you know. And when he comes on and says there's a tornado headed your way, people listen, and they get down their storm cellar or whatever, and you know, they protect themselves. But I guess this just sounds too scary, too unreal. But you know, the people, these Islamic State people, you know, whatever over in the Middle East, they've said on multitudes of videos and you know, in letters and whatever, they're cutting people's heads off over there right now. They're doing some really nasty stuff to people, and they said we're coming to your country to do this, and they're not joking. They're serious. Whether they can get here or not, I don't. You know, I wouldn't like to think that our government is bringing them here to do that. But, you know, our government has allowed a lot of things to happen to us over the years. And there's no telling why they do it.
That's an interesting way of putting it. I like that. What you said, you know, the weatherman comes on the TV and he tells you there's a tornado coming to take shelter. You know, you never met this guy. You haven't seen any video or picture proof of it. And what are you supposed to do? Just take his word for it and go run down into the basement and heed his warning? And what?
But that's what we do. And you know what? When we do that, we listen to this guy. Tornadoes come through. And we had entire towns, or, you know, the town of Moore was just ripped out by its roots. A lot of people died, but a lot of people lived because they listened.
Because they were warned, and even though they didn't have no proof, even though there wasn't any pictures or videos yet, some of the people heeded their warning and they took shelter, and you know, and they put their trust in something that they knew that wasn't there. And they just knew there's something just told them, well, I better listen to this guy. I better take heed to his warning, and I better take shelter, or I could possibly end up dead. And I think that's, you know, this is the way I look at it too. I didn't have to do a video. I sat here and contemplated about it for I don't know how long, and you know, and I even did like 20 takes on it. I don't like doing these things. I really don't. And you know, it was just such a pain, and I was like, well, how's this all gonna, you know? I've been saying I'm gonna be doing a video post, and I'm not gonna do it. And it's the very first video post I did, and I did it, and it took off like this, and man, it's just crazy. And I didn't really want all that. I didn't expect all this, you know. And the way I look at it is, I had, you know, what I asked myself in my heart, what do I want? What am I gonna do? Why would I do this? And should I do this? And it came down by 51% over 49% in my heart. It said, it's your duty as an American, Mike. This is everything that you've been fighting for. This is why you've always done these posts, and you've got this page, and you're trying to, you know, I like to help other people, and I like to protect other people, and I want the best, you know, future for my country, and my kids' future is all at stake here. All of our freedoms, 300 million plus of our freedoms, and it's been stripped away. And the last one that we got is the Second Amendment, and they're chipping away at that, and they're on the verge of taking it and disarming us, and they will have no way of ever taking our country back. We'll have no way of securing our freedoms for our future, for our children, and their freedoms and their children's. It'll all be gone, and it'll be too late, and there'll be no way that we can get it back. And then, you know, so my position on it was, well, I'm going to put it out there. It seems very credible, coming from a very credible source. This sounds way too like to the point, and all these formalities in there and anomalies. It's like, well, this has got to be true. You know what I mean? And I'm not seeing nothing on the news. I'm not seeing anything in the alternative news other than the videos. And there was, well, there you're right. I know what you're gonna say. I had that video from last January that I posted out there, and I warned everybody then. I've got numerous posts where I typed it all up. I still have them. I have them saved, and I've told people since January of last year. There's a post in there from June of last year. I mean, there's multiple posts that I've done with people around here that are on my friends list. They don't have a clue. And then, so I don't have that networking of friends then that I do now, where people are like chiming in, they're listening to me, they're agreeing with me, and they're like, yes, they know, they're awake. And that's what I say, they're awake. But the rest of this population is asleep, and they think it's a big joke, and everything's going to be coming to an end here real quick. And I'm trying to wake up as many as people as I can, even if it's just here in my community, even if it's my next door neighbors, and they probably think I'm crazy. And, I'm just trying to help people out. I know I'm not here to install fear in anybody. I want them to be afraid, because if they're not afraid, they're not going to do anything about it. But I don't want to scare the hell out of them. If I really wanted to scare the hell out of them, I would really come out with what I really think and what I really want to say, and really tell them exactly about this Muslim invasion and these Syrian refugees, and the truth about it, and be completely honest about it. Is not only going into this thing and what we found out since it started, not only has it been confirmed, but if the people out there pointing the finger at me and you and saying this is all made up and that this whole thing was fabricated and we're all just a bunch of fear installing mongers and all this, if they only knew what I knew and the information that I've received from the people that I've received it from, if they could put their hand on my head and read my mind about what I've known now since then, not only is it confirmed, and not only they coming in on these buses and other planes and trains and everything else and ports that I'm finding out, this is going on for some time. It's been going on a long time. So the number that I thought, well, everybody says blown out of proportion. You know what? If we had a magic line, we could go wave it around and go poof and pull up the number, and that we know for sure. All right, this is the real number. Here's that magic number. This is how many people, Syrian refugees, have come in. This is how many Muslims have came in that we don't know about. That number would be, people would fall right out of their chair, have a heart attack, and have to be rushed to the hospital for a new heart transplant, because they would die of a cardiac arrest if they really knew that number or how serious the situation is. I mean, that's just me. That's just my opinion. That's just from what I've learned and what I knew prior to this video taking off, and then people inboxing me stuff. And I don't even get to share a lot of stuff because they ask me not to. And then all this, also there's some stuff still going on, so I can't give away certain things and have people going around and blowing up people's names and interfering with what we got going on the outside here that other people just don't know. We got things going on from coast to coast, and and even other countries are involved now, inboxing me and giving me heads up and all this information. I'm getting in all this information, and now not only has it been confirmed, and we're having more and more eyewitness accounts, but we're lacking the video and the pictures, which I don't need to see them to know what's going on after talking to so many people. And it's going on not just in Oklahoma and Texas. This is going on everywhere around this country and Canada. I've got people coming, Canadians, telling me some stories about their border patrols up there, and some exchanges that's going on at the border that they've witnessed, that they've talked to these people, the Palestinian refugees up there, young Palestinian refugees, who specifically are mentioning Oklahoma. I mean, there's so much stuff and so much intel that I've received. I'm overwhelmed with it. I don't know if you're getting any of this on your end, but I'm being overwhelmed with it here, and I can't even keep up with it. I mean, a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it's old stuff. It's not the right buses. It's, people just are. I know they're trying to help out, but they're way off base. It's just not what we're looking for. But then there's the ones that I'm getting that are panning out, and I'm checking into, and you know what? There's a lot of things going on in this country behind our backs, and if the people of this country knew what was going on, there would be real serious problems. And if I really can't, I don't even want to. I don't need it. If I come out and just said what I had to say, and with all these people looking to me and what I'm going to say next and all that, and I gave my personal opinion, it would be opinion from the stuff that I've gathered and what's about to happen, and how what some of the things, the possibilities of what's going to happen here in the very near future. People would freak out, and not only that, they would come back hard at me, all these trolls and haters, and
Well, let me interrupt you for a second. People don't want to believe that their government will lie to them. And here's how I think of it. When we were little, most of us, not everybody, but most of us had parents who lied to us and told us about Santa Claus. And it wasn't, they didn't mean to qualify it. They actually did it because they thought it was good for us to have a good time. It was always good fun. And the thing is, our government lies to us because they think what's best. They're like mom and dad. They know what's best. It's okay for them to tell us what's not the truth. And we don't need to know. And that's basically what they do to us. But as far as my story that I've told, it all comes down to credibility. And back to my analogy about the weatherman. The thing is, the reason people now believe the weatherman, I mean, back in the day when the technology was new, I'm sure that there were rednecks hillbillies who said, oh, no, that machine don't work or whatever. But after so many towns got hit, after here in England said your town's about to get hit, and people started believing, understand that they don't even know. So I don't expect for people that don't know me to believe this story. And if I hadn't heard it from two people that I know well and trust, I may not believe it. But, I think that as far as my credibility and your credibility are concerned, we can expect those people to know us and know our character to believe our story. And if we can just get those people, don't believe my story, but keep your eyes open, keep an open mind about this, and if you see something, let's talk about it, let's get the information out. And one of my friends has started a Facebook group, and the sole purpose of the Facebook group is to gather intelligence. I guess the idea came from our very own government. If you see something, say something. And it's called Closed Borders, and maybe we can add a link to your page so that if people want to be added to it, they can share information if they see it. We just started this last night, and already we had members of the group who wanted to, they called it scrutiny of the evidence, but really they were, just attempting to debunk the evidence. But we don't have time for that. Let's get all the evidence out there, and we can decide on our own whether we believe the evidence or not. That's not really relevant. But, there's truckers on the road, there's delivery people, there's bikers who are on the road all the time. We've got all kinds of people that are out in public every day and see stuff. And if we can get these people at least open-minded and interested to take a look around them and not, to look further than what's in front of their feet, then maybe we can get the pictures that people are asking for. Everybody wants to see a photo, everybody wants to see some video. I want to see some photo and video too. But, my mechanic buddy, he was surrounded by Oklahoma Highway Patrol, and he was a little bit, well, he was scared. He didn't want to pull out his phone and get it stopped by the Highway Patrol. I mean, they do that. If they don't want your video seen, they stop it. And that's just how it works. So he did the best that he could. And he did follow them for quite a ways to Rush Springs. And he told me where he thought they went. Now, if they're still there, I don't think so. I flew over in an airplane 2 days ago to look at the area where I thought that it was. I took some pictures. There's some scattered kind of empty trailers and stuff like that. It's 5,000 acre wood. But I didn't see any Muslims running around or people, praying to the east or anything. I didn't see any of that. But
So what do you think? What do you think they're doing? I mean, what do you think that's happening? And I'm going to see what your opinion is, what your guess would be as to how this is all going down. Like, for instance, where they're coming from, where they're coming in at, how they're coming in, and where they may be going, and how this may be all, this thing.
We've had people, down in Texas and all the border states, border Mexico. We've had Mexicans and Central Americans pouring into our country for years now. I mean, we see them. Aside from the used car business, my dad's been in real estate for 38 years. I've been around the real estate business all my life, and in construction and things like that. We have our roofs done on our red houses and houses we build. So we've got these Mexicans that don't speak any English, and they're here. They're pouring across the border. They're all here in town now, and it wasn't any trouble for them to get here. Now, these, Middle Easterners, I don't know if they're coming across and then getting on buses. I don't know if they're actually being bused across. I don't know if they're showing up at, on boats provided by our country or whatever, being brought into port. But if they're, if they are being bussed in, and my mechanics, for example, they were bussed out to this kind of remote location. And I've talked to the people in this town, and they say they didn't see anything. Well, when I drove through this town last week, they didn't see me either.
Yeah.
I didn't see. I saw not a single person outside. There were no kids playing outside. There was nobody out there to see me. So I could have drove through waving an ISIS flag, and nobody would have saw me. But where my mechanic says that they busted to out east of town.
East of Rush Springs? Was that east of Rush Springs?
East of Rush Springs, yeah. There's a road called Old Cox Road, also called 1540.
Yeah.
And that's the last place that my mechanic followed us to. As it started to narrow down, he didn't want to follow him any deeper. After my initial post, I talked to him again, and I said, well, you know what? Give me some more details. And one of the things he told me was that they had 2 helicopter escorts. Even when they were there at the month, these helicopters were just hovering overhead waiting. And as they went to Rush Springs, these helicopters followed us the whole way. So he didn't want to get caught up with the helicopter saying, hey, you guys have a tail back there. You need to swing back and arrest this guy or disappear him or whatever. So I only know the general area that they went to. And, once they got back there, they could have had other vehicles, smaller vehicles, waiting for them to continue them on east of Lindsay. I mean, they could have all broken up into smaller groups. They could have had, with a lot of my family, my wife and my friends, they're Vietnamese, and when they came over, back in the early 80s as refugees, they had families waiting here for them as sponsors. And so these people could have sponsor families here in the city or cities all over that were just waiting there for them to get off these buses and disappear into the
I didn't know that part about it. About the I had no clue that he went to such extremities, to follow them, and about the two helicopters. Now, I don't know if you remember or not when I shared the one post about the info that we got about the guy, that there were two other reports of this, of the helicopter escorts, Black Hawk helicopters. And one of the guys said that he lived in Kansas for 47 years, and the president has came through town before, and never in his life has he seen so much security. He says this was far beyond what the president had. He said there was military vehicles and uh, the two black helicopters like you described, escorting this, you know, convoy. It was a convoy, and then the same thing was these buses, and this guy witnessed it, and so did this other person. She came and gave me some info that she had seen them, and this was up, the Fort Riley area and Kansas City area, I believe it was, and along those ways, and so I don't know if it's the same exact time, but it's not like it's a new thing or it's a single incident here that's taken place. It's either more than one person saw it in different parts of the country, or it's happened more than once. And these are the things that we got to take notice to. These things that most people would just like, oh, no, it's the government doing something. It must be somebody important, or no reason to pay attention to that. And I really do believe, and this is just my own belief and my own opinion from everything that I've gathered now compared to 2 weeks ago, this has been going on for some time, and it has been going on right under our noses. We have been asleep, and I mean we have been asleep hard. They are doing this right at our nose, under our noses, and nobody's paying attention. And I'm finding out these things about the school buses with this first bus thing. What, I can't think of the name of off the top of my head. Maybe I got it wrote down here in my notes, but that first student, I got the video that came in with them, Muslims on the bus. I looked up their website. It doesn't say anything about hauling Muslims, but then I looked at how many buses they have, how many people that this busing company, First Student, hauls around. And I think it's like 6 million people that they serve. They have a bus fleet of 60,000.
Wow.
Yes, First Student. That video that I posted, the eyewitness that drove by on both the left-hand side and the right-hand side, the video quality that I posted was, I was videotaping it with my webcam because it wouldn't let me do it any other way. So that's the only way I could get the video out there. So it lost a little bit of the quality, but man, if you're sitting right there watching this video like I am, I could forward it to you and you could watch it with better quality than what I recorded it at. And you can clearly see these people were all of Middle Eastern descent. They had the towels right on their heads. I could pause it and from seat to seat to seat to seat. It's unmistakably, and for anybody to tell me otherwise, don't bother wasting my time, because it's clearly nobody can sit there and say, no, that is not a bus full of Muslims of Middle Eastern descent on a First Student school bus. And now I looked up their website, and they have 6 million people that they serve throughout the country, and they have 60,000 buses. Now buses hold 48 people. Now it looked to me like there was women on that bus, but I also seen men on that bus. I also seen young men on that bus, and lots of them, dressed in their usual attire, and there's unmistakably that. And then I'm getting these other reports coming in about these other government contractors, these bigger companies too, that are behind this, and some other of these Muslim-backed fundraiser. Uh, what do you call them? What do you say? They're You know, the government ones, they have the contracts with them. The GEO group, that's who I'm thinking of. And the reason that name came to me is because somebody passed that information on to me. Have you checked into this? And the GEO contracts were something to do with, they have a private railroad system that comes in from Mexico to the United States. And then I don't know if it's tied to for sure or not. I haven't had a lot of time to dig through all of this stuff, that's been coming in and check out everything that's available before I, can say, yeah, this is all connected. But I also got information, about the Kansas City Southern Railroad. This is a company that's been hauling in illegal aliens from Central America and to America since the whole thing started. They have a Mexican railroad branch, Kansas City or Southern Railroad, and then this GEO group. And I've been reading a lot of stuff about them and some of the things they're involved with. They're all about anything that has to do with building prisons, building detention centers, FEMA camps, helping people getting processed into this country, immigration processing. They have, you know, contracts for, stuff that has to do with conductors. I mean, these people are an energy group. They build, this pretty much sound, like who would I compare them to is like Halliburton. Not only do they do, gas and oil, but they do other stuff that has to do with energy or contracts with the governments, and they're like an all-in-one type of, uh, corporation or group, their company, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to get to the bottom of this. You know, uh, it's all connected. It's all somehow. I don't think that it's just this village tours. I think that they may be using them. They may be using the whole fleet. I don't know. They may be just using them on occasion. It seems like this is a cycle going on, and it seems like they're using more than one way of getting them in here. The busing companies and biplanes, that's been verified. We've had pilots who were been, confirmed this, and they were threatened with their life. If they said anything about it, they've been flying them in. This has been going on since, January of last year that I've known of on that one. So we got that, and all these reports that I'm getting in, it will be surprised of the number of them that are coming in from people who live in ports. That these cities are on ports, and that's where they're being seen throughout this. And I've been looking at the map at some of these reports, and it almost seems like they're bringing them into the Gulf of Mexico rather than right straight across the border. They're coming around the border down there, the tip of Texas down there, where everybody goes for spring break. That's where the United States Mexican border is, out in the ocean. So who's to say that they're not, loading them on ships too, 50 miles south of the border in the ocean, going out in the ocean 50 miles or so and circling back 50 miles somewhere along the coastline of Texas. And, as people will say, well, if they were doing this, we'd know about it. Well, we know about it. We knew about it. We knew the Central Americans were coming here. We know Mexicans are coming in here, but they're still getting in. They're still coming in by the thousands every day. Who knows who's all coming in? The
I'm not
borders.
sure that there's not much of an attempt to stop the border patrollers, as far as I've heard. They have their hands tied on what they're allowed to do with these people, and they're getting in. I mean, they're here in Oklahoma City every day. I've had, over the past few years, I've chatted with people from New York City and East Coast places tell me I don't understand the Mexicans. Well, we have an enormous population of Mexicans here. I fully understand these people. I see them all the time.
Oh yeah.
And so they're here, and they're not people that were raised here or been here for a few years. They're people that just got here last month. The people I built my house about 8 years ago, and I built my house. I did a loose deed. It actually, I had a bunch of Mexicans helping me build it, and these guys didn't speak English, and had it not been for the fact that I, worked or fuel bills. There's another agenda for that. But Barack Obama already told us, you know, it's out here. And that's going to fundamentally change the country. That they didn't exactly say how, but I don't think he was talking about gay marriage.
Yeah, well, he's talking about everything. And he's talking about everything there. I mean, he already said he already said on live TV in front of the whole world. He says, if it comes down to it, and I gotta change sides, I'm going with Islam. And people don't understand the liberals and all the ones that are supporting this and the Democrats is that Islam is not in the Quran. That all that stuff is not a religion. It's an ideology, and that anybody can say that. I could say, well, I want to start a religion, and here's my beliefs, and I'm going to print it up in this book and all the things that I expect and what we're supposed to worship, and make up this big story about some false god and virgins and all this stuff, and just lay out a law for me and my followers, just like anybody else, that fits that description, like Charles Manson or something. What if Charles Manson came out with a book and started a religion and said, "Hey, this is what it actually is a cult, some kind of cult." But what if he come out and said, "This is a new religion. This is our religion. This is who we worship. These are our beliefs. These are, this is our way of life," and that's that. Do we have to acknowledge Charles Manson and his new cult and their religion, and just because they say it is? No, we don't have to. And the mainstream media and people talking the political correctness about this being a religion, it's not a religion. These are sick people. These are evil people. I have the Muslim playbook right here. You know what I mean? And I've read it, and it talks. It's their playbook. It's their playbook, like a football team has one when they go into the game. This is their plays that they're going to have in order to win. And this playbook, it has it laid out step by step of how they're to come to foreign countries and blend in amongst us, blend into our hospitals. My hospital down the road's got more Muslim doctors than it does American doctors. And I'm way up here in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains. So go figure that one out. There's mosques and houses and Muslims. They're all over the place down here. They own the cigarette stores, the gas stations, and there are more and more coming up. You go to the bigger towns and the cities, there's even a higher population of them. And these people worship a false god. They have the craziest ideology that there is, where everything that you could think that's inhumane is in this book of theirs, and they are instructed to go by it. And if anybody else doesn't follow them or doesn't believe in that, also, they're to kill them and rape them and everything else, butcher them up. These people are sick. These people are the seeds of the devil. That is not a religion. Religions have to do with doing good things and doing positive things and being better people and better humans on this rock that we all got to live on. They aren't about a religion that is something that's pulled out of a horror movie. You know what I mean?
Well, I think and I just had lunch with one of the, elders from our faith group, and we were talking about the difference between the God that we worship and the God that they worship. And our God is about freedom of choice. We're supposed to freely choose Him. And their God, and even the name Islam related to this, is submit or die, submission. And you don't get a choice,
And you know what? You know the Constitution, and you know our founding fathers when it was founded on this country, and you know it was founded on a lot of stuff was come from the Bible and people of the Bible, godly people, and you know that's why our Lord God, who we choose to call God, the only God, uh, you know has made the United States take off and prosper the way it has. And you look at these people that worship Islam and the countries that they're in, they're all disaster. Look at their lands are barren. I mean, they've got nothing but problems. They've been a pain in the ass since the beginning of time. And you look at the people, the Christian nations, they're flourishing. And you see how we're going downhill. It's because Americans have lost the faith. Americans stopped going to church. Americans started living their life completely different from that of what uh, us older people were raised to follow, and our ancestors, you know, and the good Christian word and the gospel and the scripture and all that good stuff. They have uh, strayed away from it, and the results are showing. And we're losing this country. We're losing our freedoms. And you know the Constitution is all about our God-given, unalienable God-given rights to be free and be at liberty to do what we want to do, as long as we don't interfere with the liberties and the freedoms of other people. And we're not seeing that now. And that is for Americans. And the border that we have is for Americans. That's for us to stay in there and have our country and to keep others out. We are full, and this is the worst time to be taking on more people. We got enough people sucking off the government's boob on the nanny state. We don't need a whole nother, you know, country worth of people to jump on the wagon. We are broke. We are in debt. We're getting further in debt as we speak. We're on the verge of financial collapse. It could happen any day. We're just not in a position to be helping all these other people. And if people,
We know the thing is, we're as a country, we do have borders, but we are also a very hospitable country, and we take in hundreds of thousands of people from other countries every year.
yeah, and I don't have a problem with that.
My family's Vietnamese, and we take in, after the Vietnam War, we took in a lot of refugees from that country.
Yeah, and I don't think that any real Americans or any real American patriots are going to disagree with that. I surely don't disagree with that. And I don't got any problem with people that coming in this country. I got many friends that came here legally, and not only they came here legally, you know, they're doing well, and you know, they've even come down to some of these. Yeah, they've come down to some of these rallies and protests and stood with us because they're furious that they had to go through 9 kinds of crap and you know had to get denied a few times, but they eventually got in, and they had to go through all that, and they really suffered trying and struggling to get in here and just to get turned down, and you know, and then here they are. As soon as they get in, they turn around. Now they got all the people coming in anyhow. So why would they even have bothered? You know, and I'm all about helping another person. I'm all about helping another country. I'm all helping about you know taking in some refugees or having people come to this country who want it. Matter of fact, I'm in the process of trying to help a guy from down in Africa get over here. He's a good guy, you know. He really wants to come here. He you know he's a perfect candidate to come here. He loves his country. He wants to be American. You know, and he's Christian, and you know he's just a good guy. I was just going to see what I could do to
We
help
have legitimate people in
help him get in.
they're in danger of losing their head, and we're not letting those people in. You know, and if we look at Europe and what's happening there right now with the so-called refugees coming in, these men have left their families behind. Who leaves their mom behind in a war zone? Who leaves their kids behind for their sister? Who does that kind of thing? Because you see these pictures and videos, and it's men. It's all a bunch of men.
Yeah, and it's not like they're.
Don't believe these aren't refugees.
We don't know who they are. The screening process, there is no screening process. We know nothing about these people. They all could be murderers and rapists, or they could be good Christian people. We don't know because we don't. They're not telling us nothing. They're not telling us about them bringing them in, where they're bringing them in.
My best friend is ethnic Vietnamese. He's been here in America all his life was, you know, when he became an American citizen, he went back to Vietnam to marry a girl that his family hooked him up with. And, you know, she's here now. She finally got over to America, but she waited a year and a half. She waited a year and a half to go through the screening process and get here legally. And these people aren't doing it. The people, you know, south of our border aren't doing that. And these people, these Middle Easterners that are coming in on these buses under the radar, they're definitely not doing that. You know, they're not, at least they're not doing it publicly and open through the, you know, through the process with immigration. If our federal government has done something under the radar, they're doing it without our consent. And that's not what our government is. Their authority is based on the consent of the government, and we haven't consented to that. So it's just not a legitimate move on their part.
Yeah. And you know, so you know, we got all these people. They want this, and you know, they don't believe it because there's no video proof and no pictures yet. You know, and
All I can say is people need to, you know, be skeptical of my report, be skeptical of reports that you hear, but keep your eyes open and don't stick your head in the sand and say, no, it's not happening. I've got a football game to watch, or, you know, there's, you know, I mean, people have so many amusements that they fill their lives with, and they've got so many good things going on. And most of the people in this country, they've got a house, and they've got food on the table, and they've got a car to drive, and they've got a job, and they've got, you know, good things going on in their life, that, especially compared to some of these other countries around the world. They've got it good. And so they'd rather not think there's something bad coming down the pipe. It's not something that they want to accept. But, you know, if the tornado's coming and you don't get ready for it, if you ignore the warning because you don't trust your weatherman, I mean, what can you say for those people? Whether this bus story that I told is true or not, because, like I said, I don't have credibility with any of the people that have seen it. The only credibility I have is with the people that know me. And, you know, if they know that I'm not a liar, then they can trust what I said. But,
yeah, it's not like that's what gets me the most. It's not like anybody's lying here. I'm most certainly not lying. I read it. You know, you could tell I was reading. I showed people the link, and the thing that I added in the end there, only that thing that was me taking the numbers and times in it by the number of passengers by the number of days of the month. That's where that number comes from. So I'm not lying. I'm not making anything up. I'm not exaggerating. As a matter of fact, I said I'll take the average amount of buses times the average, you know, amount of times, which is 4.5.
I think it was very clear by your post that you were making an educated guess. You weren't, you know, nobody was saying we saw this many buses come through until we know that there's, you know, so many thousands of people coming in. The fact could be that there were only ever, you know, these 6 buses, or maybe, you know, multiplied by the number of other reports that you saw. And
Yeah, we just don't know. And the thing is that they should be telling us. We shouldn't have to be guessing. This is our country. The citizens of this United States, the taxpayers of this country, and the people who live here, whose country this rightfully belongs to, it don't rightfully belong to the Mexicans, Central Americans, or the Muslims. This is America's country. And, you know, first and foremost, we have the right to know what's going on. We have the right to protect ourselves. And we have the right to know who is living next door to us in our communities, down the streets. And, you know, even if they're at the detention centers or, you know, these churches, we know that they're there. We have a right to know where the child molesters are. And we surely should have a.
This isn't a Santa Claus deal where mom and dad have the right to tell us who we live.
Right.
You know what's best for us. The government, our federal government, by consent of the government, and they're not asking for our consent on these issues.
That's right.
You know,
Oh, people would go.
under our noses.
Yeah, people would go right through the roof. They would.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. You know, even if we go to the healthcare issue, a lot of people want. You know, a lot of people are sick. A lot of people think that healthcare is too expensive, and you know, we were told that we were going to get this healthcare plan where people would be taken care of, and they lied about how things were going to go down. People's healthcare costs have actually gone up, and ultimately, you can say what they did was not with the consent of the people. We didn't consent to this.
Exactly.
And most people did not consent to a healthcare system at all. Most people were saying, no, thank you, we'll take care of it ourselves.
Well, I don't consent to this invasion. It is, and you know, and that's what it is. It's an invasion. If they're immigrants, then we know about it. It should be public record. We should be able to look up and see who came in the country today, where they coming from, what their criminal record is, where they plan on going. That should be public information. This is our country. If we went to another country illegally, first of all, we'd be shot before our feet hit the dirt. And the second of all was we're not going to be able to go into some other country and just be able to fly under the radar somewhere. That pretty much to me would come across as somebody who was spying. You know, or something shady. And that shady is the word that fits this government and this administration better than anything else. In this situation that's going on, it's all shady. Everything that they're doing lately is shady.
My friends, you know, when my friends come to my house, they come in through the front door. And if somebody comes in through my back door without my permission, I get out my gun because I know they're thieves or they're there to do my family harm. People that come in through the back door are up to no good. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I have to cut you off. I have to get back to work.
Yeah, me too.
Let's talk again. If people have questions, I'm sure, after our talk, people have questions that they want answered, and I can get back on with you, or you can do a text chat, or whatever, however you want to work that out.
Yeah, let me, I'll get that straightened out, that technical part of that Google's Hangouts and that Google's live feed. Once I get that figured out, we'll be good to go, and we'll be able to come on here. You know, I'll be able to come on anyhow, once a day and keep everybody updated, and maybe even give them some other videos of tips of what to do and what to look for, and if they should come across for this, even tips of how they can help us out, and things like that, and like a basic instruction what to do video, and we'll do a follow up on this. We got to get together and do a question and answers segment so that all these people that want to get their comments out or they got these ridiculous questions, well, we can take them and give them the answers that they want. Oops. I'm sorry about that, Trey. My son was calling in, and I tried to swipe it, and I think I just disconnected from Trey. So, we'll give the son a call back, my lovely assistant, and let him know what's going on. But I just want to touch base on this really quick before I get off here, too. I got some things I got to do. I apologize sincerely. We're not up to anything. We're still working out the kinks with being able to do a questions and answers thing. So I promise you that. We will get you that. We want to, answer everybody's questions. Let you say what you got to say. Get it out there. You can say what you want. We know the truth. We know what's going on. The evidence is overwhelming. We don't care if the mainstream media covers it or not. We don't care if they acknowledge it or not. We don't care if the government acknowledges it or not. We can't count on them, period. They've proven that over and over again, people. You just can't count on them. They're on this total lawlessness, and they're out of control. Nobody's doing nothing about it. So we got to take it upon ourselves as Americans. It's our duty as an American to protect our country. And it's our duty as an American to keep our government in check. Because that check and balance between we the people is being lost right now. And it's being shifted over to we the government. We have way too much government, way too much nosing up in our business and our lives, and not enough of what they're supposed to be doing. And that's balancing the checkbook, protecting our borders, and taking care of our own. Starting with our veterans and our active military. So, stop with all the comments that are negative and not helping the matter. Alright? This will all pan out here before too long. We're going to catch them sooner or later. We've got a lot of people working on this. We've got people in the air. We've got people on the ground. We've got people in Texas. We've got people watching the border. We've got people that know people inside. We got people high up that are looking into it. We have people that are supposedly on Trump's team that are keeping track of all this, and they're staying updated. They want to know what's going on too. And unfortunately, we don't have any good hard evidence yet. Actual video footage of someone on one of these village tour buses, coming across the border would be really nice. That would be perfect, right? Yeah, it'd be nice to have somebody standing right there at the customs at the Mexican-U.S. border, film the bus coming across on village tours, or one of these first student buses, or one of these geo corporations, however they're coming in across the border on film, and them getting off the bus on film, and with them seeing that they're Middle Eastern fighting age men going into these immigration offices just across the border on film, then coming up and showing you their new American IDs, voter registration, and Walmart card, and freshly printed cash. I don't know. That would all be nice, and then have that video following them on that bus to a city or a church or a FEMA camp or wherever. But we just don't have that. And I'm sorry. If you want it, here's what I suggest you do. You get your keys, and you get your gun, just in case, and you get your ass, and you go out, and you get in your car, or your truck, or your van, and you go out, and you go looking around. Drive up and down the highway. Sit along the side of the highway. Watch for these buses. Look for anything unusual. If you think that, they may be in your backyard or in your neighborhood, it's always nice to go for a country drive. Grab your keys, your camera, your gun, go out and drive up and down your country roads. See if you see anything that doesn't look right. Go out into your community. If you see something going on at Walmart or a church or something, that they may be housing these people, look into it. Ask questions. Don't be scared. Nobody's can do anything to you. Take people with you. Make sure that you got eyewitnesses. And if you see something strange, get on your camera, record it. It's not against the law to record anybody. If you're out in public, you are the public domain. All right? Film them. Ask questions. Hey, are you from another country? Ask them. Say, are you here legally? When did you get here? Where are you going? Ask these people questions. Ask these bus drivers questions on film. It's your right. This is your country. And we need to know. We need less people on Facebook being keyboard soldiers and more people actually out there doing something. I mean, if I had the time, I would be able to sit here and make phone calls all day. I'd be calling congressmen. I'd be calling this first student. I'd be calling GeoCorp and asking them. And if I was down in Texas, I'd be at the border in my free time, watching for people to come across. This is your guys' backyard down there. You guys need to handle this. We're handling things up here in New York. Texas needs to handle Texas. Oklahoma needs to handle Oklahoma. We all got these problems, And tyranny is everywhere. It's from the East Coast to the West Coast, from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico to Mexico. You know what I mean? It's everywhere. Every state has got issues going on. Every state's got dirty, crooked politicians in there that need to go. And there's a lot of backdoor, shady deals going on down behind their backs. And if you people knew what they were, you'd be outraged. I can tell you that. We'll do another follow-up video for this. And in the meantime, stop weighing down my stuff. Anything that's old stuff, I'd already seen it. Anything that you think that I haven't seen on YouTube, I've seen it. All right? I've been doing this a long time. Just try to please keep it to just stuff pertaining to these Syrian refugees coming in through the border on whether it be buses or boats or trains or planes. This is what we're looking for. They're not going to tell us, and they're doing it under our noses. And the only way to catch them is to go out and catch them. And you're not going to catch them sitting around all the time on Facebook waiting for me or Trey or somebody else to come up with the new evidence. We need boots on the ground. We need people out there doing what these other people are doing. We got truckers watching for them. You know, we've got bikers watching for them. We got people down at the border watching for them from coast to coast, Canada, everywhere. And it's only a matter of time before we catch them in the act. You know, so everybody do your part, and we're liable to get this to the bottom of this a lot quicker. And stop pointing the finger at me and my friends and calling me a liar and all that good stuff, because people know me. They're going to tell you just the opposite. I'm not a liar. And I'm just trying to help you people. And if it keeps going the way it's going, you're going to find out how much serious I am about this. I don't care. I'll shut down my Facebook page. I'll shut down everything. You won't hear a word from me. And then what are you going to have? That video will disappear. I don't care. I am busy. I'm trying my best with what I got here. Let me do what I can do. Let my people do what they got to do and get back to me. And then as soon as that comes across my lap, I will check it out. As soon as it's checked out, verified, I will pass that on to you. And I'm not going to do that until then. Nobody is bossing me around. None of you 3%er groups and all you other people from these wannabe, you know, journalism sites. I don't care. I don't like you anyhow. I don't like none of the mainstream media. I hope none of you get a hold of me. I could care less. I care less about any of this. I'll shut it all right down. All right? I'm just trying to help. So lay off my back and we'll all get along fine. And sorry, keep your nose out of Snopes. They're nothing but a garbage site. That's all.